Pankaj, please let us know, I mean, how many books we will have to write, how many research we will have to do before we get rid of this.
Thank you, Osama. Thank you, Def. First of all, this book is, I'll say, congratulations to all the writers and all that, and authors. But it's got a wrong title. This book should be titled, and it will sell very much, The Weapons of Mass Deception. Because that's where we have reached today. Misinformation, disinformation, and deception has become the rule all over the world. And when I talk about mass deception, I'm not saying it lightly. What is going on these days in Gaza and in Palestine is part of that. And that misinformation or deception, which is now we are seeing in the death of thousands of children and women and men, innocent, every day, is because of the information was started by Shri Winston Churchill. In Parliament, he said that the Jews are going to a place where there is nothing. Before that, the Palestine was a country. Palestine was a country with its own currency, with its own postage system, with its own, not a constitution, but a system of running the place. If you look at the Palestinian currency before 1948, the currency notes and coins have both Arabic and Jewish and Yiddish. They didn't hate. Muslims didn't hate Jews. The postage stamps are written in that. And we are saying now, after 70 years of what's going on for there. And that's why I'm calling this is WMD. This is real WMD, which are these social media platforms. He said, I've been a victim. Dushyant said that I've been a victim of this. I was the most trolled person in this country at one point of time because I was trying to tell the truth. Most trolled person. The head of the Google in India came into my office when I was in Prime Minister's office. And first thing he said was that, Pankaj, he's son of one of my friends who runs in our big platform. And he said, Pankaj, you know, all over the world, right wing is very active on social media and all that. And I said, but this is your platform. If someone is standing in my balcony and abusing my neighbor, whose responsibility is this? I asked him this. But we are a platform. No, if you are a platform, you are providing a platform to someone standing in your balcony and abusing me. I don't know that person. I'll hold you responsible because you are my neighbor. After 10, 12 years, the European Parliament is saying now the same thing. And the way the Australian Parliament is talking about it, European Union is talking about it, that the platforms are responsible for whatever hate they are carrying on their platforms. And that is one thing which we have to understand. And this has not happened overnight. The Google head has come to me because he wanted the Prime Minister of India to launch their new product, which was called Google Hangout. So I said, Prime Minister doesn't launch these things. And we are not in the business of launching things. He went to someone else after that, and that person is now Prime Minister.
And that person?
He is now Prime Minister.
So the first Google Hangout, which was a product launch on the world's largest news agency, which is Google, was launched by the Indian Prime Minister, or who was trying to be Indian Prime Minister that time. And why do you find, I mean, everyone is flabbergasted that, there's so much hate, there's this thing, there's shit all over the walls and everywhere. And it's from all sides. It's from everywhere. Why? Because the platforms do not take responsibility of what they are selling. Every tweet, now X, is a product. It's a product on which the company is standing. Every Google Hangout is a product. Every Facebook post is a product. Every Instagram post is a product. And these companies do not take responsibility for that. There's no No, but the person is standing on your balcony. Yeah. So this is the biggest problem. They do not take responsibility. How do they take responsibility? That Google News Initiative is going to sponsor people. Facebook, fake news, fact checker is going to this thing. So first, you are supplying contaminated water to the whole world. And then you are buying few RO machines and giving it to people and saying that our responsibility is over. When I got onto Apple, Apple was not in India. There was no presence of Apple in India. Today, Apple has $2 billion revenue. I could trust my Apple iPhone that time. Today, I don't, because they have a business interest. All these companies have this huge empires they have built is on the basis of the contaminated products they've been selling and they've been allowed to sell all this while. A company which is $2.6 trillion today, which is Apple, is saying, we don't know how a message went out from our computers to the people. Just think about it. It's insane. I mean, there are people sitting everywhere. Our algorithm caught it. Who made the algorithm? Who's monitoring the algorithm? This has been told to me by people in Silicon Valley that we have no control over this. And what we are seeing in Ukraine, what we are seeing in Palestine and Israel, and what we've been seeing in India, and what we are going to see more and more all over the world, is because the companies do not take responsibilities of what they are doing. We are great flag bearers of free speech. 12 countries had spring. What was that spring called? Arab Spring. Tahrir Square. 12 countries had Arab Spring, and it was said that this is the best thing which has happened, and people are organizing themselves on Twitter and Facebook and social media, and they are coming out on the streets. Out of those 12 countries, 11 countries' GDP is University of Paris. GDP per capita income is now lower than it was 10 years. Who benefited? The people didn't benefit. Who came out and they were tear gas and they were killed and they were police operation? No. Technology platforms benefited because their reach increased with all this. I mean, it's very difficult to make a YouTube video which is good, and Saeed Saab is here and he knows how difficult, time-consuming and expensive it is to make good content. The entire Indian government is now a content-making machine. There are 1,500 apps by the government, Digi Yatra, this, that, Aadhaar, everywhere. And all the states have also now doing that. 1,500 apps, which are on Android, and the government has no control over that. They are pushing you and me to give our private data. I just, day before yesterday, tweeted something about a government of Karnataka notification that do not give your Aadhaar photocopy to anyone. Use the masked version. It's gone viral. Because people are so sick that they have been forced to give their private information on Aadhaar and all the related things with Aadhaar. Your health, your bank, everywhere. And they are very angry with this. People are really, really angry with this. And the only way this whole destruction is going to end is by class action. This doesn't happen in America. When the Russians tried to meddle with the American election, there was a state hearing. All these guys were like paraded there in front of the Congress. Mark Zuckerberg, all of them. And they had to be answerable because they are there in America and their companies will be shut down. In India, what do they have? 1% of their revenue comes from India, which is their largest subscriber base. Facebook, Twitter, you take anything. Google search, we are the largest subscriber base where they are getting revenue, which is only 1% of their total earnings. It means what? They are doing politics. Because we have the numbers. People have walked into my office when I was in Prime Minister's office, and they said very casually that China is closed, so only India is left. So that is what it is, and it will, like people like this, Arun and Shruti and all this, people like this will keep writing about it, and the class action will not be in the court. In India's case, the class action is only through election. We get our reservations through election, we get our benefits through election, and that's how it's going to change in India when the people will rise. And there will be an action against these things as it's happened in the European Union and Australia and other Nordic countries. This is the way forward. There is a way forward. So we don't have to worry about it too much. People should stop, throwing shit. And they should be held accountable for that. The accountability is the problem. Sorry, I didn't want to, I didn't want to be very emotional about this, but this is a very emotional thing because I can see the things which are totally, distorted in our country. I've covered the Babri Masjid case for at least 20 years. And the first thing I said that they can never prove that this is not Waqf land. Because there are papers supporting that. That there was a burial ground there. I said they can never prove this, so I said forget it, the courts will never do it. But they did it because, as Harsh was saying, people refuse to believe the truth. And that's why even the Supreme Court and everybody says, whatever the perception is, let's go with the perception. So that is how we have to organize. We have to write more books like this, give them a punchier title. So you'll also make some money. Why should the tech platforms make all the money?